Clicking through stories you wouldn't believe. Cold case trails and courtroom scenes. Whispers from the grave and media dreams. Truth is stranger, hearts beat faster. In the shadows of a news disaster. Scrolling deep where secrets hide. You found the stories time won't deny. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to breaking news lines, you shine a light where the silence lies. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Small town rumors and urban fear, a voice for the lost who can't speak here. Through every name, through every case, you hold the truth in a steady place. Cameras roll but justice lingers. Truth unravels through careful fingers. You tell the story, speak their names in a world that's quick to look away. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to great night trials, you trace the echoes through every mile. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Some run from the dark, you walk right in with a question and a camera lens. It's not just a crime, it's the lives they led. The voice is still talking from the books unread. Headstones and headlines, the veil is thin. Truth gets louder when you begin. With every view, with every line, you bring the forgotten back to life. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Yeah, headstones and headlines, you tell the stories that time can't hide.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. I hope everyone is having a good day. My day went by actually really fast. I've got to say, for a Friday, it went by pretty quick, for sure. Um, Although it is still cold, it is still windy here. It is, and it's not even January yet. And I don't remember, I know I've said this before, but I don't remember a year in recent years where we've gotten this much snow and this cold so early. So I can only imagine what January and February are going to bring. So, anyways, thanks for being here. I apologize that I'm a little bit later than usual. I ended up staying at my parents' a little bit longer because my mom was visiting my grandpa and I wanted to wait until she got home. So once I got home, I went in to see the kittens and I was just sitting in the recliner being like, I really don't want to move. I'm so comfortable here. But here we are. Here we are. I know, right, Angie? And it's only December 12th. It's like winter hasn't even officially started yet, which ugh, I don't know. And they're saying so the news today said something about another Arctic blast coming through. And it's like, what do you mean? It's still here. It's still here. The wind it was a little bit calmer today than it was yesterday, but it is just so frigid and so cold that I just every morning I wake up and I'm like, maybe I'll call in today. And then I don't. So, oh well. I did see Angie, of course. Curious, thanks for being here. Okie, Pookie, glad that you could make it. Um, Today, we're going to finish up what I didn't get to yesterday in the case of Jesse Mack Butler, who, for those of you who may not know, is a teen rapist who admitted to several charges, 10 to be exact, where he faced 78 years in prison. Well, a judge, along with the prosecution, decided to change his status to youthful offender, to which he was sentenced. I don't even want to say sentenced, because it's not a sentence. He was required to complete 150 hours of community service. He had to go to counseling. He needed to have no social media, daily check-ins, and he could just walk free. After a year, if he abides by all of the required things, his record will be expunged. And there will be no record of him ever having these charges. But the internet is forever, so we will never forget what a dirtbag this kid is. 24. I don't know what it is here. Let me look really quick. I know it's 28, but it feels like 18. And it's snowing. But we're not supposed to get like a whole lot. It's just kind of like that flurries, that annoying stuff. But at least it's the weekend and I don't have to drive. So we are going to start with, I had mentioned yesterday a clip from Ashley Banfield that had a lot of information in it. So I'm going to actually start us off with that. It's about 15 minutes just to kind of give a summary of the case and to kind of just, refresh our memories of everything, because in the arrest affidavit that we read yesterday, I feel like there were a lot of things that weren't necessarily mentioned. So we're going to take a look at that. I have the extended body cam, which we're not going to watch the entire thing, but I did put the link to it in the description of this video if you wanted to watch the whole thing. It's about 25 minutes long. We're just going to watch the beginning when officers arrive at Jesse's house, and then the end when he arrives to the police station. There is an interview that one of the victim's attorneys gave. And then also the last thing we're going to end with today is the parents of one of the victims spoke out. So we're going to hear from them. And I feel like, give me 1 second. I feel like yesterday, because I was still kind of looking around at things. I'm pretty sure his attorneys may have spoke out. Don't quote me. I have to see. But I did see another video that I thought I added to this playlist, but it wasn't there. So I need to go figure out what playlist I saved it to. All right, let me just write myself a note. Hey, Elaine, thanks for being here. Cocoa Puff, what's going on? I hope everything is good in the Carolinas. I hope things are on the up and up and getting better. I hope. All right, so I don't know why it always kicks me off. I don't know why. So this was, actually, I don't know what the date. This was, let's see, this was when I first started covering the story. So this was from October 18th. So actually almost 2 months ago. 2 months ago next week. So this gives a lot of info. And the Just in the Nick of Crime, who I'd contacted yesterday to see if I could use his content, which we will get to, he is actually interviewed by Ashley during this interview. unbeknownst to us when we first watched this. So he is like just pushing out the videos and the information. So I can't wait to see, go through some of his content, not all, but some.
Whatever else you happen to be doing this minute, if you're making dinner, if you're drying the dishes, if you're checking your email, stop.
You heard her. Stop. Hey, Ocean Tide, long time no see. Cocoa Puff says we almost have 2 lanes of road rebuilt. Well, it's better than 0. So that is good. But I mean, it's been 2 years, right, already? Or almost 2 years? Like I feel like it's been a while.
Stop and take a good long look at the face that I'm about to show you. Pause your TV and make sure you get a picture. Take a picture of your TV, get a screen grab, and I need you to share it far and wide. This is Jesse Mack Butler, 18 years old. He's from Stillwater, Oklahoma. That's a college town. It is also home to, Oklahoma State University, right? And it's about an hour north of Oklahoma City. And back in March, when Jesse Mack Butler was 17, he was charged as an adult with a string of sadistic sex crimes against 2 girls. They were fellow students at Stillwater High School. One of the girls was choked unconscious and almost died, according to her doctor. Jesse Butler was charged with 10 felony counts in all, and it is very important you see the list. I think you'll get a picture of what happened when you see this list of charges. 2 attempted rapes, 3 charges of rape by instrumentation, and you'll have to use your imagination about what that means, but yeah, it is literal. 1 count of sexual battery, 1 count of forcible oral sodomy, 2 counts of domestic assault and battery by strangulation, and 1 count of domestic assault and battery.
Yeah. And he is walking free. He is walking free. Oh, only 1 year. Okay. But Cocoa Buff says, I caught up on this case earlier today. This is insane. It is insane. It is a travesty. As what my thumbnail said yesterday. It is a travesty. Oh, Road Rush. I thought that picture looked familiar. Yeah, I think this is a new thing from YouTube, and I'm wondering if it's not I don't know. Because they're also, I've noticed, I've been on YouTube years now, but I signed on maybe a couple of days ago, and I went to watch a video, and a thing popped up and said, be sure to safeguard your privacy. And I'm like, well, this is strange. So I think they're updating things. I'm not sure why they're using the ats, but I think this is probably the new thing that they're doing. So we'll see.
And while there were even more and way bigger charges that the state likely could have thrown at this kid, like attempted murder, the 2 alleged victims and their families had every reason to believe that the wheels of justice were hard at work on this case, both for them and for the accused, Jesse Mack Butler. And before I tell you what ended up happening, let me tell you why he faced those specific charges, what he actually did to those 2 girls. You should know that these details are extremely graphic. They are despicable, but they are critical to this story, especially when you find out how the judge came down in this case. So fair warning, trigger warning, what I'm about to list out for you is very uncomfortable to say and to hear. A police affidavit says a girl who's identified only as LS because she's a minor dated Jesse Butler for about 3 months, starting in January of last year. She was 16 at the time. And during that time, the victim said Butler repeatedly raped and attempted to rape her and would strangle her if she refused. The teenage girl needed surgery to repair the damage done.
So you can see her neck. That is from him. That is from him strangling her. And we learned yesterday from the arrest affidavit that had she been strangled another 30 seconds, she would have died. She would be dead. 30 seconds.
To her neck by the strangulation. And her doctor told her that she would have died had that strangulation lasted another 30 seconds. The girl said that she gave in to Jesse Mack Butler because he threatened to kill her and he threatened to kill her family if she didn't give in. A separate affidavit says in March of last year, Butler took up with another 16-year-old girl identified only as KS. And that relationship lasted 6 months. But this teenager also said that Butler was aggressive and violent with her and says she went along with all the unwanted sex to avoid being hurt further. This victim also said that one time when she did refuse, Butler strangled her too. But get this, he recorded himself strangling her until she passed out.
And even with all of this evidence, and even his admission, well, technically he pleaded no contest, so he didn't actually admit guilt. But even with all of this, he still gets to walk free.
And lest you think this might be just a he said, she said, police later found that video on Jesse Mack Butler's phone. So that's what we call evidence. Yep. Jesse Butler pleaded not guilty to everything, as was his right off the bat. But in the coming months, for reasons that I will not pretend tonight to understand, the DA's office struck a deal with Butler's lawyers to change his status from adult to youthful offender. The victim's families begged the DA, please do not do that. Please, no. But in July, a judge decided to sign off on this. And in August, Jesse Mack Butler changed his plea from not guilty to no contest, meaning he knew there was ample evidence to convict him. And you should know that a conviction is the result of a no contest plea, right? That's what you get, convicted. By the way, I mentioned there were 10 counts before, but by August, there was one more. So the grand tally now stood at 11. The new count was for violating a protective order, which, oh my God, facing.
And we did also learn about that. He had a protective order to stay 6 feet away from the one victim. At a school event, he violated that by coming within 6 feet of the victim. That is deliberate, in my opinion, because 6 feet really isn't that far. And if you're at an event, there's a lot more space than 6 feet where you could be. You could be across the room or across the gym, across the field. In my opinion, he was trying to intimidate and just be a dick.
10 felony counts and violating a protective order should have been a hell of a red flag for anybody, somebody. But the very same day that happened, Butler was sentenced to 78 years in prison, which sounds like a fitting punishment for somebody who nearly kills 2 teenage girls and rapes them repeatedly with all sorts of things. But as a youthful offender, Jesse Mack Butler was also entitled to special treatment, like a rehabilitation plan.
And not only that, but we learned yesterday that his dad has ties to the judge through Oklahoma State University, where he was the football director. So he's getting more than just special treatment with his new plan. I believe that this whole thing is giving him special treatment. It is not giving any thought to those 2 young girls whose lives have been completely altered by his nasty ass behavior.
which was drawn up by the Oklahoma Office
No, he
of
won't.
Juvenile
I
Affairs.
agree with
And
you.
that plan was presented to the court last week. This new punishment called for daily check-ins, weekly counseling, a curfew, no social media, and 150 hours of community service. Bam! They really brought down the hammer, huh? 150! Oh!
And the organization, it was clean something. But the volunteer organization that he had applied to work with said no. So they were looking to find other organizations that would be sufficient. And apparently they found two. But I guess the report from the youthful offender office or agency was pretty vague in my opinion. I don't know, I felt like it was lacking a lot of detail. It was dependent a lot on what Jesse himself and his parents relayed to the I guess I'm going to just say probation officer. So I don't know, I just feel like something isn't right. Something isn't right.
It's like 3 weeks if you work really hard. This new plan is scheduled to stay in effect until Jesse Mack Butler turns 19. And that, my friends, is less than a year from now. So, wow, long punishment. Here's another kick in the teeth, if you're anybody other than Jesse Mack Butler or his family. If he complies with his court-ordered rehab punishment for that less than a year, and if he doesn't break any more laws, his record will be wiped squeaky clean. He won't spend a day in prison. His name won't appear on any sex offender registry, and nobody in other towns or other schools or universities or businesses or dating sites will have a clue as to who Jesse Mack Butler really is or what his proclivities have been. If you run a background check on him, again, thinking about dating him, hiring him, none of this is going to show up unless you maybe get my show. Maybe some of the online talk.
Well, believe me, if any employer I feel like they should always Google someone's name, and they will find out what he did, because a lot of creators and media outlets are talking about this kid. So even though he's free, I hope that he reaps the full effect of his decision.
That's why I suggested off the top of this show, grab a screen grab of that. That's the face. I mean, he's young, he's going to change, but that's him. Spread that far and wide. That's all you got, folks. That is all you have to protect your girls and protect yourself. And now I'm going to stop because I am livid, and I'm going to let Justin Shepard have a word here. He's a digital journalist whose online handle is Just in the Nick of Crime. He has been on this case from the beginning. And let me tell you, Justin, you have done some unbelievable digging, not just on the case itself, but the justice system and the players, not only the judge, but the judge's father and those involved. It sounds to me, and this is just a very sweeping comment, Justin, but it sounds to me like this is like the Low Country Murdochs and how they used to run justice in their...
That's actually a good way to describe them. Low Country Murdochs.
Their neck of the woods. Am I off here?
What if he breaks probation and goes online? According to his plan, if he was to not abide by any of those stipulations, he may go to prison for 78 years. So as long as he's squeaky clean for 1 year, well, not even a year, until he turns 19, because after he turns 19, he can do whatever he wants. But yeah, the stipulation is that if any of those are violated, that he possibly could face 78 years in prison, which, from what we read, I don't believe the judge on the case, unless it's a different judge, I don't think the judge that gave this order would sentence him to 78 years like he deserves.
No, you're not. In fact, it's funny you said Murdoch, because I was talking about somebody else about this today earlier, and I said this is just like the Murdoch situation with how deep this goes. And yeah, normally when I get a story that comes across my desk and I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about this one. And I'm like you, when I first saw this one, I was absolutely livid. I still am. And the next thing I knew, I had so many people reaching out to me about the way Stillwater, Oklahoma's judicial system handles things, the type of punishment that sex offenders get or lack thereof. And it goes much deeper than I would have even begun to have imagined.
And so I just double checked because I wasn't sure exactly when his birthday was. His birthday is August 4th. August 4th. So in just about 9 months, he will be free to do whatever he chooses.
So let me ask you this. Why no attempted murder charge? The doctor who treated the first victim, who has the surgery scar from the welt and the intense swelling that continued after the strangulation, he said that if she was strangled 30 more seconds, she was going to die. Why was there not an attempted murder charge in this case?
That's a great question, and your guess is as good as mine. I mean, maybe perhaps at the beginning they felt they didn't need it with the other litany of charges that they had, that they ended up, pleading down to, 150 hours of community service. But it seems to me when you strangled somebody twice, to the point that one of them needs surgery, why that wasn't an attempted murder charge it's beyond me.
Yeah.
Is this kid in school with these girls? Because he's walking free. He is out there. Is he allowed to go to school with these girls?
So that's a great question. Right now, he's virtual school. So he is still enrolled at Stillwater High School. He is enrolled virtually, so he can't be seen with these girls, or he can't go see them. However, it is my understanding from people close to the case, people close to some of the students at the school, that he is still texting, trying to hook up, asking if they're single, things like that. So it's like none of this meant anything to him.
So that's interesting. I mean, granted, they said no social media, but I would think if he's trying to text the girl still, that's in violation of the protective order again. And he did miss 2 check-ins that he was supposed to have done. One time he said he forgot. The second time he didn't do his daily check-in was because he had ear pain and was in bed. In my opinion, that's violation of the terms. But he was allowed to do 2 in-person visits to make up for it. Special treatment? I think so. Because we said yesterday, well, myself and a few others, that if Jesse was black or brown, he'd be in prison right now. And that's a fact. Yeah, WTF is right. Yaya says his parents went to him. Right. So Curious, Evil Queen, if he interacts online, gaming, TikTok is right. And that's the thing, Curious. So actually, you know what? We can go over. I have that report. Oh shoot. You know what? I think give me 1 second. Here we go. So I have we can go through this quickly again. So the youthful offender court report. All right. So he had a court date this past week. And let's see. So we'll go over here quick. So this was from the Oklahoma Juvenile Affairs. And this was his court report. So his plan so it says his plan started October 6th, 2025. So he's not even going to have to be on this plan for a year. Because once he turns 19, it's good. He's good to go. So on October 6, 2025, disposition was held on JDL 2025-59 in the matter of Jesse Mack Butler. On that date, the Office of Juvenile Affairs was formally ordered to supervise Jesse on community supervision. He has been under supervision for just under 2 months as of the time of this report. And the report doesn't have a date. I would assume it's October 6th, but I don't know. So here is supervision. At that time of disposition, OJA placed Jesse on what is considered intensive community supervision. This includes daily check-ins by phone and weekly in-person check-ins. Following the October 6th disposition, this worker maintained Jesse on that supervision level. Jesse remains on that supervision level at the time of this report. Jesse has called in each day except for 2 days. So he's supposed to check in every day. That is part of the stipulation. But he didn't. On the first call, he forgot to call in. On the second occasion, he said he stayed in bed late due to an issue with his eye. Okay, I was wrong. I said ear. It was his eye. For which he reports he did see a physician. Okay, so we're going to give him a pass because, yeah. Why? Oh, dang it. I hate this. To make up for missed calls, this worker requires Jesse to add an in-person visit for that week. Consequently, there are 2 weeks in which Jesse visited the office twice. I agree, Curious. He does. Hey, Lunatic, how are you? In relation to compliance with weekly in-person check-ins, Jesse has appeared in person each week since October 6th. During the daily call-ins, Jesse relays what he has planned for that day. So what? She's like his administrative assistant? He's just like, oh yeah, I plan to go to the grocery store. I plan to stay in bed. I plan to go for a walk. Cook with my mom. Like, that isn't... How is that... I don't know. I don't understand this at all. Jesse attends school through Stillwater Public Schools through the Ingenuity program. Ingenuity is an online program. He is classified as a senior for the fall 2025 semester. Honestly, we don't care about that. He was negative for drugs screened on the 24th of October and the 14th of November. Therapy, so he is working with a licensed clinical social worker, Terry Masters. He continues in weekly counseling with Mr. Masters. The family participates in sessions. This worker has requested a progress report from Mr. Masters for this court hearing. The family provided a spreadsheet of dates they have recorded for sessions. And I said yesterday, why is the family being permitted to provide documentation of the visits? That should be on the social worker. Just my opinion. Jesse was ordered to complete community service through the CLEAN program. The family was notified the CLEAN program denied his participation in the program. This worker requested a letter of denial from the program to provide to the court. The court did approve Jesse to work his community service hours at any nonprofit agency. The family has located 2 places in the community for Jesse to complete service work. He began service work at the first one December 2nd. This worker suggested Jesse bring verification of completion of any hours completed before this hearing. I don't know, Evil Queen. He's a sick person. Part of Jesse's rehab plan was to attend a sexual abuse victim impact panel. As alluded to at the disposition, this was contingent on one being available, as this worker had had difficulty locating a panel. A sexual abuse VIP has not been located. An alternative the court might consider is a domestic violence course. There are a number available online. So he also has to take a course online to learn about what actions are not appropriate. This office has not received any reports or been made aware of violation of the protective orders. Safety plan was developed and signed by the family. This is reviewed and discussed at monthly meetings. The plan is attached. I don't know if we looked at that. I'm going to have to see if they have that on here. OJA is currently working on securing a provider for a risk assessment such as the SAVRI or an adult equivalent. The plan would have to be the plan would be to have this administered approximately 6 months into supervision. They say, he spends most of his time at home. He's been doing his laundry, cooking, doing schoolwork. He spends most of his time at home with his family. The family relays Mr. Masters has suggested they engage in family time. They have discussed board games and puzzles. Jesse has worked on Lego sets, watches his sister's dog, cooks with his mom, and watches television. He is not currently in any athletics. So this is where I'm like, why aren't these people checking his actual phone? And this kind of goes along with what you had asked, Curious. Jesse relays he has deleted all social media from his phone. He said there was a rumor he was on the app Tinder. He said he is not. He relays his phone is set up to require permission to add an app. And my question was, well, who has to give permission to give the app? Like, it would be silly for him to, for something to require permission that then he just has to do, or his family. Oh, this darn thing. Go away. He denies any social media use since deleting all his apps. So they're taking his word on all of this. I would think that there should be some type of oversight, looking at his phone, looking to see if he is anywhere on social media. Granted, he could be using a fake name or whatever, but there has to be other ways that you can certify that he's not doing these things. Because he told this counselor that there was a rumor he was on Tinder, but he's not. Well, somebody must have seen you on Tinder, sir. Unless it was a fake account, which, I guess is possible. Then it just says this office has not received or been made aware of any new referrals regarding Jesse. As Jesse has reached the age of majority, any new referrals would be handled through adult system. So let's see. And then here's the restitution. He had to pay $3,392 in restitution. So then, oh, that's it. So the plan was attached, but they must not have released the plan that they said. What was the plan for? Oh, the safety plan. I would like to see what that safety plan is myself. It is such a mess. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This judge should be ashamed.
Like, it's basically, hey, I got a slap on the wrist. This is a get out of jail free card. So I'm just going to continue to live my life with these minor inconveniences.
Mm-hmm.
So during all of this, he allegedly is still trying to hook up with other girls at the school.
Okay, so I misspoke. I thought the way that it had sounded was that he was trying to contact the two victims in this case. He's trying to hook up with other girls. And if I were the other girls, I would be like, F no. Nope.
Presumably who know all
Not today, Satan. Not today.
about what happened to these two fellow classmates.
That's my understanding, yes.
Wow. I mean, I guess I should be surprised if he was violating a restraining order during all of this adjudication, during the fact that he was facing 78 years in prison. He still decides to violate a restraining order?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about a big elephant in the room here, which is who Jesse Mack Butler really is. So his father is a man by the name of Mack Butler. And if you Google him, he will show up as a former athletic director or director of football for Oklahoma State University, for OSU, which is a pretty big job. He worked at one point for LSU. He's been with several universities throughout bowl games, and then he was hired on at Stillwater High School as an athletic director. And if you look at the news article from when he was hired, the whole town knows who this guy is. Like, a name that well around town is now coming to Stillwater High School. So this is a family that is very well connected to the Stillwater area. For a college town, a football town, you can't get much higher than somebody who is involved in the athletics, which his father.
Okay, and so I did just do that. I Googled Mack Butler, OSU, and we're going to just take a quick little detour because 4 hours ago, there was an article published from the Oklahoman that, crap, what did I just do? Oh, here it is. So it says, Payne County prosecutor responds to public outcry over Jesse Butler case. Oh, great. And I can't read it because... Okay, well, I'm just going to read. Oh, this makes me so mad. All right, give me 1 second. Let me see. I hate this that you have to pay for all this. Let me just look up Payne County District Attorney. Someone else has got to have it where I can read it. Here we go. Coco News. All right, so Payne County DA released first public statement regarding handling of Jesse Butler case. Jesse Butler, who is now 18, recently pleaded no contest to 11 counts against him. The counts included first-degree rape, strangulation, and violation of a protective order. Oh, it's a video.
At Goodwill Central, Oklahoma, we're more than just a thrift store.
I agree.
Our training programs provide valuable skills.
Hey guys, families of the victims say the system failed them and they want harsher penalties. Butler's status was changed to youthful offender. Those incidents happened before he turned 18. New court documents shed light on how a teenager charged as an adult in March is now charged as a youthful offender after charges of rape, sexual battery, and domestic assault and battery by strangulation. Jesse Butler, who is now 18 years old, pleaded no contest to the 11 charges against him, which means he neither admits nor disputes the charges. During the incidents of abuse, Butler was enrolled in Stillwater Public Schools, and court documents include victim impact statements. One of them said, quote, "I've had to explain bruises, explain silence, explain why I started isolating from people who love me. You didn't just strangle me with your hands. You strangled my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body." That same girl even said Butler threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone what he was doing to her. We reached out to a mother of one of the victims, and she gave us a statement Wednesday saying in part, quote, "As a mom, I never thought I'd have to watch my daughter fight this kind of battle. One where she had to prove she was the victim over and over again, while the system made excuse after excuse for the person who hurt her. My daughter has handled this with more strength than most adults could. She still shows up to school, still cheers, still smiles, even when people who should have protected her didn't. Watching her stay brave while adults failed her has been both inspiring and heartbreaking." Here's what was...
Agreed.
ultimately decided in the case. According to the Oklahoma State Courts Network, Butler will remain subject to the sentence pronounced on August 25th this year, which was 10 years. But that is pending his compliance or non-compliance with...
Wait a minute. I missed that in everything we did. Let me rewind that. 10 years?
Here's what was ultimately decided in the case. According to the Oklahoma State Courts Network, Butler will remain subject to the sentence pronounced on August 25th this year, which was 10 years. But that is pending his compliance or non-compliance with the Youthful Offender Rehabilitation Plan. The court extended jurisdiction to Butler's 19th birthday. He is now under and subject to the oversight of the Office of Juvenile Affairs, pending his compliance or non-compliance with the orders of the court. Now, Butler's next court appearance will be December 8th up in Payne County. In Oklahoma City, Jason Berger, KOCO.
Okay, so I missed that. I thought, and what I thought I heard with what we listened to yesterday was that if he were to violate this, he could face 78 years in prison. But based on what that reporter just said, if he failed to adhere to the conditions, it would be 10 years. I need to look into that more. The Payne County District Attorney is speaking out for the first time regarding the handling of a case that has sparked outrage from the public. Jesse Butler, who is now 18, recently pleaded no contest to 11 counts against him. The incidents occurred before Butler turned 18, leading to the change in his legal status. Butler was initially charged as an adult in March, but court documents showed that his status was downgraded to youthful offender. During the incidents, Butler was enrolled in Stillwater Public Schools, and court documents include victim impact statements. Okay, there's the statement. I was like, where's the statement? I've had to explain bruises, explain silence, explain why I started isolating from people who love me. You didn't just strangle me with your hands. You strangled my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body. The same victim also said Butler threatened to kill her if she ever disclosed actions. And we learned about the secret text yesterday too, which we'll get to in a different live. Payne County District Attorney Laura Austin Thomas released a statement which you can read in its entirety here. So that's what I want to do. I want to read the whole thing. Okay, so here is... So Laura Austin Thomas, District Attorney. In response to a number of requests for comment regarding the state of Oklahoma's prosecution of Jesse Butler, District Attorney Lauren Austin Thomas has provided the following statement. The District Attorney's Office carefully evaluates every case submitted for prosecution to determine the strengths and weaknesses of the available evidence and potential defenses. The charges in this matter allege conduct by a 16-year-old male directed at similarly aged young women. Most crimes committed by persons under 18 must be filed in juvenile court, where proceedings are confidential and have no potential for incarceration in the adult system. A significant number of more serious crimes provide the option of filing as a youthful offender. As a youthful offender, the accused has an opportunity for rehabilitation, but can be transitioned to adult status and adult punishment if those efforts fail. A much more limited number of crimes allow the state to file the charges in adult court from the beginning. The youthful offender sentence imposed against Jesse Butler requires him to complete his rehabilitation plan successfully, including an aggressive schedule of therapy with a specialist in sex offender treatment, and should he fail, he faces reclassification as an adult and a sentence of 10 years in prison. That's complete bullshit. An aggressive schedule of therapy. He should have to register as a sex offender as well. Years of experience tell us that juries often struggle with convicting defendants based upon delayed reports of sexual assault. Why is this not? I think I zoomed in too far. There we go. That's why. Okay. All right. Oh my God, this is so small. Okay, where did I leave off? Oh, here. So years of experience tell us that juries often struggle with convicting defendants based upon delayed reports of sexual assault between people in ongoing consensual dating relationships, and the trial process can be very traumatic for victims. Oh, so now we're making excuses. Nonetheless, after consultation with the victims and their families, no ma'am. No ma'am. She's lying. She's lying. Don't most go back to finish the original sentence? Yeah, I mean, you violate probation. And this is not true. We heard in the victim impact statements that the prosecution did not consult the families or the victims in this deal. So she is lying. Maybe she meant after consultation with the accused and his family. Okay, nonetheless, after consultation with the victims and their families, we chose to file this matter and to file it in adult court rather than juvenile court in order to bring the serious behavior at issue into the public eye and with hopes of avoiding a later reclassification of the case to juvenile status. In accordance with Oklahoma law, this filing decision then afforded the defendant the opportunity to seek certification of his charges to youthful offender or juvenile status. We explained that youthful offender was the most likely final outcome, particularly because the 2 counts of attempted rape were the only alleged crimes among the 11 charged that even qualified the case for filing in adult court, and additionally, because existing law strongly favors providing offenders under 18 an opportunity for rehabilitation. But what about the counts of rape? She's saying here that the 2 counts of attempted rape were the only alleged crimes among the 11 charged that qualified the case for filing in adult court. So alleged rape does, but actual rape doesn't? The ultimate resolution of the case, reached without either victim having to testify or face cross-examination in a contested proceeding, included the accused agreeing not to challenge any of the allegations and to be sentenced to the outcome described above, including the potential for imprisonment in the penitentiary. Oh, what is happening? That's it? I feel like there should be more to this. That's it? That's it. And also, in one of those victim impact statements, again, one of the victims had said that she lost the opportunity to tell everyone what he did to her. So why does this district attorney think that people are stupid? The ultimate resolution of the case, reached without either victim having to testify or face cross-examination in a contested proceeding, included the accused agreeing not to challenge any of the allegations and to be sentenced to the outcome described above. Well, he wasn't sentenced to 10 years in prison, ma'am. That statement is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's go back and see. Let me see what the news article says, if they say anything. Okay, so they kind of just summarized. Okay, so that, I mean, that isn't even a statement. That's like a politically correct, yeah, with a few lies in there, because we read the victim impact statements. And actually, I have them right here. Where's the one? Let me find the one where she said, oh, that was the mom or one of the parents. Maybe it was the first letter. Okay, it was this one, I think. Oh no, that was the parent. So where the heck is the second? I'll have to look later. But I know that one of the girls had said she wasn't given the opportunity to tell her story. All right, well, I will find it. I'm not seeing it as I'm scanning through. All right, so let's go back to Ashley. We've got about 4 minutes left. Hey, Soflo, what's going on?
Father is.
Let me ask you this. Justin, how about this? The judge in this case, Judge Susan Worthington, I read your Substack about all of the figures in the justice system, and it did not sound good. They are extraordinarily lenient. Their track record looks as though it's like sexual deviance. Oh, well, whatever. A lot of the sentences, a lot of the bail has let sexual offenders run rampant in this community. First, I think this judge, second, her father ahead of her. Tell me if I've got that wrong. But did Judge Susan Worthington here on your screen, was she also connected to the offender's dad at OSU or through any of the athletics programs?
So this is all, unconfirmed speculation or rumors, I could say, based on what I've heard, is that she and her dad, whose name was Don Worthington, and the two of them, I think it's worth noting, have kind of ran the bench in Stillwater, the judiciary, for about 50 years. So the two of them have kind of been, over everything. And it's my understanding that both of them, the father and now the daughter, Judge Susan Worthington, are very much involved with OSU athletics, whether it's as donors, whether it's as supporters. That's just kind of what I've been told.
What's the recourse here? I got about 20 seconds left. There's got to be something that these families can do.
The only thing that you really have as far as reopening the case is if the DA decides to do that. I believe that's Laura Thomas. And based on what I've started to learn about her, that's highly unlikely. The only other thing that these families could do is probably sue the Butler family legally, given the fact that Jesse was under 18 at the time. That would possibly make the parents liable. But that's kind of the most you're going to be able to do, other than make sure that his face is everywhere. Because once, like you said, he turns 19 years old, this is wiped clean. So all we're going to have is a Google search.
Yep.
It's just unfathomable. We just had the list of charges up on the screen again, Justin. It's just, again, 11 charges, 10 of them extraordinarily violent. He pled to them. This is not allegations. This isn't he said.
Okay, so I misspoke. I thought he had charges of rape. It was rape by instrumentation. So that was my misspeak. So of all of these charges, According to the DA, the only two that would justify him going to adult court was the 2 counts of attempted rape. And if that's true, that's very sad.
She said these things happened to those girls, and 150 hours of community service and a couple of check-ins and no social media is all he's going to get. It just doesn't seem like this is America, if that's the kind of justice that these families are going to get. Stay on this with me. Please break in at any time. My phone is on speed dial to you. Let's continue to cover this and see what happens. I think there's a protest coming up, right? Is it November 5th? November 5th?
Yes, November 5th in Stillwater. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see how many people turn out for that, because at some point the dam is going to break. Justin, great job in reporting this. Justin Shepard, often with us. I just want to read something real quickly. The DA, again, she's Lauren Thomas. Her office sent us a statement, and I'm going to read it to you in part. The youthful offender sentence imposed against Jesse Butler requires him to complete his rehabilitation plan successfully, including an aggressive schedule of therapy with a specialist in sex offender treatment. And should he fail, he faces reclassification as an adult and a sentence of 10 years in prison. It goes on to say youthful offender was the most likely final outcome, particularly because the 2 counts of attempted rape were the only alleged crimes among the 11 charged that even qualified the case for filing in adult court.
So she just released the same statement she released back in October? Wait a minute. What? As Ashley was saying this, I'm like, wait, that's what I just read. So she just released the same statement that she released 2 months ago. Wow.
And additionally, because existing law strongly favors providing offenders under 18 an opportunity for rehabilitation. Blah, blah, blah. I know how it works.
Ashley.
And I know something else that's really big. It's the word discretion. And that's what DAs have, discretion. Everybody around the country exercises it. Where's yours? Continue to follow that.
And
pause. Okay, so before we get to the body cam, so I was trying to look up, I did look up Judge Worthington just to see and there was this article from Lawyer Monthly. There's a paragraph here. It says, the outcome has renewed public scrutiny of how Oklahoma courts apply the youthful offender statute in cases involving serious violence. Advocates have raised questions about transparency, victim notification, and the perception of conflicts of interest, particularly because Judge Susan Worthington, the special judge who granted youthful offender status in July, previously earned 2 degrees from Oklahoma State University, where the defendant's father once worked in athletics administration. The case also interacts with Oklahoma's constitutional Victims' Rights Amendment, which requires reasonable efforts to keep victims informed of major developments. And you know, I think that might be, I had this in a different order, but I think that this will be a good time to actually go to the video of one of the victim's parents who spoke out on today's Friday, on Wednesday. I agree, Oceantide. They need to change some laws, or they need to stop giving a pass for, clearly this kid is, you know, I think it was it Oceantide who said it? Who he's not going to be rehabilitated. Like, this is a pattern of behavior. Going to counseling is not going to change the fact that he is a sadist. He videotaped himself strangling one of these girls. He's not going to change. He's going to walk the walk and dance the dance until he turns 19, and then I guarantee he's going to do it again. He clearly is trying to hook up with other girls already, because he doesn't, I mean, Hopefully, no one says yes.
Her little competition uniform.
This morning, the parents of a teenage victim at the center of a sexual assault case causing outrage in Oklahoma speaking out.
Do you feel like your daughter got justice?
No. Community service and counseling doesn't equate to what he did to her, what he's taken from her.
Yvonne and Austin say they're upset that the suspect, 18-year-old Jesse Butler, avoided time behind bars.
Just hoping that his name will be out there, that somebody will know that he's capable of this, and just anything we can do to prevent other harm.
The case in Stillwater causing public outcry earlier this year. Butler was 16 and 17 when he allegedly assaulted 2 teen girls, both former girlfriends. Authorities charging him with multiple counts of attempted rape, sexual battery, strangulation, and domestic assault.
Turn around for me.
Police body camera footage capturing Butler's arrest, his mother standing by his side.
Spread your feet for me.
He was initially charged as an adult and faced possible prison time, but a judge ultimately granting Butler, who was a minor at the time of the alleged incidents, youthful offender status. The district attorney telling ABC News they consulted the victim's family throughout the process and warned this would likely happen. Butler pled no contest and avoided prison time, but received a sentence of community service, rehabilitation, and counseling.
Community service for this type of crime, that's nothing. People get that for minor crimes.
Exactly. Exactly. You get community service for, I don't even know, not rape or attempted rape. You know, maybe, I don't know, petty theft or drug offenses or DUI. You know what? Let's do a Google search. What crimes how do I word it? What crimes tend to get community service? There we go. Okay, so according to Google, community service is typically ordered for non-violent, low-level offenses, especially for first-time or juvenile offenders. It is less common for serious crimes such as violent felonies, sexual assault, or kidnapping. Common crimes that may result in community service include vandalism or property damage, petty theft, shoplifting or retail theft, writing bad checks, simple drug possession, DUI, DWI, disorderly conduct, public intoxication without violence, minor motor vehicle offenses, minor fraud, some forms of simple assault depending on jurisdiction and severity. Yeah, he shouldn't have gotten community service.
Yvonne and Austin say the experience completely changed their daughter, Kate. She was 16 when she was allowed to start dating. Jesse was her first boyfriend.
When you first met Jesse, what was your first impression?
You know, and just looking at him in this photo, he doesn't appear to be the monster that he is. Sure doesn't. He just looks like a normal kid.
Her first boyfriend.
When you first met Jesse, what was your first impression?
We liked him. We thought he was really nice. He would bring her flowers pretty frequently, and he took her to lots of fancy places, and she went to a lot of his sports events and games.
He seemed very kind and seemed like a gentleman to me.
But a few months later, their daughter began acting...
Look at that little baby puppy. Oh my gosh.
differently. They then learned she'd allegedly been sexually assaulted. Kate is now completing her senior year of high school online. Her life forever changed.
She doesn't have her high school friends anymore. And I'll never have a prom picture or a graduation picture because she doesn't want to walk
Yvonne, Austin, and their attorney upset with the way their daughter's case has been handled.
What you think should have happened?
I think there should have been a period of incarceration, and I think that there should have been an admission of guilt of what he did.
What are you hoping for your daughter now?
Oh, I hope that she tries to date again. Right now, she's been too scared. So,
It's shattered her trust
it was her first boyfriend, and that was her first experience with love. And I hope that she'll try again because love shouldn't hurt.
Love shouldn't hurt. Now, overnight, their attorney filing a motion arguing that Kate's rights were violated during the plea and sentencing process. They are pushing for more accountability, saying he's had his freedom restricted. It's slightly more than grounding. So, guys, we'll have, of course, more on that.
That is a great way to describe it. It's like more severe grounding. He's grounded for sexually assaulting and attempting to rape 2 young girls. It is. That's what it is. He doesn't even have to wear an ankle bracelet.
Tonight.
Powerful.
And I'm glad that these major news networks are blasting his name everywhere. So we're gonna, instead of the body cam, this kind of went a little different direction. We're gonna go to the interview with the lawyer. Evil Queen says, Twisty, the parents thought he was a good person. He knows how to play adult. I agree. He's very manipulative. Angie says, so he's getting off because of his dad being a coach at a college. Is that it, or am I missing something? If that's the case, why does his family have that type of entitlement? So rumor is that because the dad and the judge have, what's the word? Ties to each other through the university. It's all speculation and rumor, but something's got to give. Because we had, what was the boy's name yesterday? I have it written down. Canaan Porter. Canaan Porter is also a 17-year-old who was just arrested and charged with rape. And I'd like to see the outcome of his case. Is he going to be treated the same way as Jesse Mack Butler? They're in the same town. They're both in Stillwater, Oklahoma. They were both the same age when they were arrested, although Canaan was arrested on his 18th birthday. I'd like to see how the two cases either parallel or are completely different. Because if Canaan's case is different because of who he is, that tells me everything I need to know. Hey, Oki, I'm not sure if I said hi to you, but if I did, hi again. Hey, Doodles. Yes, you're late, but you're here, and that's all that matters. Then that judge should have stepped down and suspended to give this kid the privilege of getting up. Right, and so that comes, you know, the conflict of interest. If she did have ties to this kid's dad, if she knew him or was an associate of him, etc., she should have recused herself. I agree. Okay, so let's go. Here we go. So this is, and I think this might be, yep. So we'll watch this. This is about 15 minutes, and then we'll watch a little bit of the body cam, and then we will wrap this up. All right, let me add this back. There we go. So this is an extended interview with the victim's attorney. And I believe they called her Kate. Whether that is her real name or not, I hope it's a moniker, but...
So explain to me in your words, Rachel, what was filed today?
We filed a motion to enforce Marcy's law and to set aside the plea. It's a motion to enforce Marcy's law and for a corrective hearing for the modification of the youthful offender disposition. So basically, we have filed a motion about Marcy's law because we believe Marcy's law hasn't been complied with, and to get compliance in sentencing.
What exactly is not being complied with here?
Okay, so Marcy's law is a Bill of Rights for crime victims. And one of the things that is stated in Marcy's law, both constitutionally and statutorily, is that the rights of the victims are to be treated as vigorously as the rights of the accused. We don't believe that those rights of the victims here were protected the way that they should be.
And I tend to agree with that. So I'm going to look up Marcy's law because I actually talked about Marcy's law back, gosh, this was probably, when I first started my live streams in Marion, Georgia, where 6 friends were out on a crime spree, and the 3 African-American kids shot and killed the teenage white kids. And one of those victims, the male victim, his identity was protected through Marcy's law. Oh, here, Marcy's law, Oklahoma. Okay, so Oklahoma's Marcy's law, passed as State Question 794 in 2018, is a constitutional amendment giving crime victims robust rights like notification, presence at proceedings, impact statements, and protection from the accused, aiming for victim rights to be equal to the accused, though it sparked debate over funding, costs, and potential systemic impacts. Key provisions and rights. Notification. The right to be informed about proceedings, release, or escape of the accused. The right to attend and be heard at all critical proceedings, including parole hearings. The right to present a statement about the crime's impact. The right to reasonable protection, dignity, and privacy. The right to restitution from the offender. The right to the right to a legal remedy for violation of these rights. Let's see if they have anything else. I will share, this is the website for Marcy's Law in Oklahoma, if anyone would like to take a look. And Marcy's Law was named after, it was a young girl. I don't remember what her name was. Let me look. Marcy's Law was named for. Here we go. So Marcy's Law was named for Marcy Ann Nicholas, a UC Santa Barbara student murdered by her ex-boyfriend in 1983 after her family was unexpectedly confronted by the killer in a grocery store weeks later, sparking a movement to give victims stronger rights in the justice system, championed by her billionaire brother, Henry Nicholas. In 1983, Marcy Nicholas was stalked and killed by her ex-boyfriend. Just a week after her murder, Marcy's mother encountered the accused killer at a grocery store, unaware he had been released on bail, as victims' families weren't automatically notified. This traumatic experience inspired her brother, Henry Nicholas, to fund and spearhead Marcy's Law, a constitutional amendment providing rights like notification of proceedings, right to be heard, and protection from the accused. California voters approved the first Marcy's Law in 2008, and similar laws have since passed in numerous other states. Yep, so Marcy's Law.
What do you make of a lot of these details that were released, or at least released to our accessibility today? Some of these details of even close to death from the strangulation, if I remember reading that one part. These are pretty disturbing.
Well, correct. These are all details that have been in the various pleadings the entire time, but I don't know that they've fully been seen in this context. And that was really the important thing that we looked at here when we started writing from beginning to end what happened and how it happened. It's clear that Marcy's Law has not been complied with. And some of that problem is due to how Marcy's Law is written, and there needs to be more clarification from the court and probably even the legislature on what that means.
Why was it important to the victims to have these details unsealed, and do you think the judge should have unsealed even more?
So I think what's important to these victims in having things unsealed is that their story is heard. We have seen outrage all over the country about what's happened here. As somebody who has worked with victims for a long time, the most common thing that they want is to be heard when they come forward. It takes a lot of courage to talk about these things when it's happened to you. Statistics show that the average age for disclosure of childhood sexual abuse is 50.
Wow.
That's because this is embarrassing. It's shameful. You feel guilty.
That's wild to me that for child sexual abuse, the average age is 50 to come forward and tell your story.
You feel like it was your fault, even though none of that is true. That's one of the things that abusers use for power and control to keep the secret. So when a victim comes forward to talk about what's happened to them, it's very important that they feel heard. And these young women feel silenced because they wanted to testify. They wanted to talk about what their experience was and what they went through. They wanted a jury to make the decision, or at least to have that opportunity to go forward. They wanted either an admission of guilt or someone to hear that and to make that decision. And that's not what happened here.
They did not get to testify.
No, there was no preliminary hearing. So they did not testify at a preliminary hearing, and there was no trial. There were victims' impact statements that were read, but these girls didn't get to testify under oath about all of the things that happened to them. They did not get their opportunity to be heard.
At this point, is Butler even considered a rapist at this point? What are the legal labels at this point?
So he is a youthful offender. He has pled no contest, which means there is no admission of guilt. He has a sentence, and where it goes from here depends upon what he does, unless the court modifies the sentence. I'm not going to put a label on him. I'll let other people do that. But he is a young man who has pled guilty under the who has pled no contest under the youthful offender statutes. And one of the issues that I have as a lawyer is that there was no allocution or admission of guilt. I work in a court system that generally requires, in situations like this, for one to admit their guilt. In order for the youthful offender system, which is treatment and rehabilitation, to work, it's similar to the idea of substance abuse. You have to admit what you did and the choices that you make.
You know, I hadn't thought of that. nowhere in any of those criteria did he have to admit guilt. How can you be rehabilitated for something you don't confess to? You know, this intensive therapy for sex offenders, but he never admitted to doing what he did. So how is that going to rehabilitate or change his behavior?
In order to grow from it. We know that from every form of therapy. You can't be rehabilitated from something if you won't admit what you did. And there was no admission of guilt.
How unusual is that in your experience?
In my experience, it's extremely unusual.
What do you think Payne County is trying to do with this situation?
I think Payne County is trying to get through what is a very volatile situation the best that it can on both sides. Look, there's been a lot of aspersions cast from everyone everywhere, and there are a lot of concerns. What I can say as somebody coming in and looking at this from the outside, there's a lot of things that I believe should have been done differently. It's more, from what I see, a series of mistakes or small things that had they been done differently, things would have looked differently. And that's part of the problem with Marcy's law or the application of Marcy's law. There's no rules beyond they have to be given these opportunities and they have to be given a sheet of information. What does that look like? They have the right to be heard. When do they have the right to be heard? Their rights are to be protected as vigorously as the right of the defendant. Does that mean that they have a right to demand a jury trial if a defendant has a right to demand a jury trial? I don't know. I know what the words on the piece of paper say. I know what the defendant's rights are. I have no definition clearly of what the victim's rights are and what constitutes due process for them. And I truly think that's the problem that we're all faced with as legal professionals, from the district attorney, from defense attorneys, victims attorneys, and judges. What does this mean?
What's been your conversations in the mood for the victims about Butler's current standing?
They're not happy. There was a disclosure that he missed 2 call-ins, one because he just didn't do it, and the other one because he had a problem with his eye. And the result was to make him do an in-person visit instead. And so while I understand making an accommodation, the families really feel like, at which point is there going to be some actual accountability?
Exactly. That's what I said. We're going to accommodate him because he forgot. If I'm facing possible jail time, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to do what I have to do to stay out of jail. The fact that he forgot not once, but twice. But, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You can just come in person. No, it's not okay. And like this attorney is saying, they're not holding him accountable for their own rehabilitation plan.
They don't believe not being able to be on social media,
that is very
not
true.
Going to regular school, which he should have been removed from much earlier than he was, having to go to counseling. It's essentially slightly more than grounding with some therapy. And these women will be scarred for life.
Yep.
They've had their first sexual experience stolen from them. Nobody should have to go through that. Love shouldn't hurt.
You're right.
You're saying he's already made penalties or violated some of his sentence that he has to make sure he follows with this deal?
Correct. It was revealed in court yesterday that he had missed 2 of his daily call-ins. So they had him go in person 2 extra times than what he's required to do. So he didn't make his phone call check-in. So he was made to go in person and check in. I appreciate that there was a consequence of he was inconvenienced and he had to go check in. But part of the purpose of the youthful offender process is rehabilitation and consequences. And if there's a lack of strict compliance, then you have the consequence of moving up farther into further punishment. And so the question that these victims have is, at what point are there going to be what they feel are real consequences?
You feel like the lack of consequences, in your words, is becoming egregious or has been egregious?
Yeah, the victims feel that way, yes.
What do you hope comes out of this motion? Do you expect it to be granted, or what needs to happen next in your view?
I'm not going to speculate on what the judge is going to do. I'm going to trust in the legal system that this judge is going to look at this with fresh eyes and that he's going to consider all of the evidence. And
oh, good. She said he, meaning a different judge is going to review this case and hopefully come to a different conclusion, one that helps the victims, or at least takes them into consideration, as opposed to this female judge, the special judge, who made this, quote, special deal with this rapist. He videotaped himself strangling a young girl and laughed about it. He is a sadistic F-U-C-K.
Look at everything from beginning to end to see whether or not Marcy's law was complied with. I hope that he or an appellate court and hopefully the legislature step in and give us all guidance on what compliance with Marcy's law means. For example, one district attorney's office used to provide affidavits of compliance with Marcy's law at the time of pleas. I think that's a great idea. In another case that I worked in, there was a plea agreement worked out. The defendant went to plea.
Yes, Nanny. With one of the victims, he videotaped himself strangling this young girl and laughed about it. And investigators, when they, seized his phone, found said video on the phone.
The victim didn't have notice. The victim happened to have counsel present in the courthouse that day and told the court, or not the victim, excuse me, the victim's attorney was present and said, we didn't get notice and we don't agree. And that judge did not take the plea that day. That was an adult plea, but it was a situation where a law enforcement officer would have been pleading to a sexual assault, getting no jail time. And if I remember correctly, it was going to be a no contest plea. We don't let people who don't look like these individuals make those kinds of pleas and get those kinds of deals. We shouldn't let that happen here. Part of what our system of justice is supposed to be about is fairness. These women, all victims, need to know that the system is fair and that nobody's getting a special deal because of who they are, who they're related to, or how much money they have to pay a private lawyer over a public lawyer. That's not how our system is supposed to work. And there is a feeling here whether true or not, that is what happened.
Agreed.
And that needs to be examined.
I completely agree with her. Who he was, who he knew, well, who his family knew. Absolutely. And yes, so he was 16 and 17 at the time of these sexual assaults and other crimes. He was being charged as an adult. He faced 78, his sentence would have been 78 years in prison. And in a change of events, the district attorney, the judge, and the defense came to a deal. Well, actually, let me rephrase. The district attorney and the defense came to a deal with the accused that he would now be a youthful offender and he would be subject to a rehabilitation plan. The judge signed off on it a month later. So if he adheres to the plan, which we already know he didn't because he missed 2 check-ins, when he turns 19 in August, his record will be expunged. So legally, there will be no record of him being charged with attempted rape, rape by instrumentation, assault and battery, sodomy, violation of a protective order, and I know I'm missing a couple.
Rachel, thank you again. Is there anything else I didn't ask that you feel is pertinent regarding this?
You didn't ask it, but this is something that I would like to say and that the family has asked me to convey. Everyone truly appreciates all the support that they have been given. They would ask that in the show of support that we please not harass people and be, I don't know if rude is the right word. There have been people in the community who have been supportive and or are associated that have gotten treatment that they probably didn't deserve. As you're supporting these families, please be respectful. You don't help the situation by causing further harassment. I understand people want there to be consequences, but we also need to be respectful and caring, because one of the things that has been said to me is they're starting to feel sorry for that family. And that's a really hard place to be.
Her little competition uniform.
That's true, because in trying to support one family, if you're rude or harassing the other family, then you start having some people feel bad for them instead of for who they should feel that way for. Yeah, I think so too, Nanny. I think he's a threat to the community too. And rumor is that he was, through all of this, was trying to hook up with other girls at school during this process. And hopefully no one will respond to him. No one will respond to him. So I was going to show the body cam footage, but I was thinking about it. I don't think I want to, because this was more about the victims, their families, the attorney representing one of them, and how it was injustice. Like the lawyer said, they didn't get to tell their story. They didn't get to have a jury decide his fate. They are being silenced when they didn't want to be. Yet the district attorney, in her statement, said that that's what she was. What was the word she used? She was sparing them testimony and cross-examination, like she was doing them a favor. No, ma'am, you weren't doing them a favor. So I think the next live, because I am going to, there is one of the live streams that Justin the Nick of Crime did really focuses on the Butler family. I know he spoke with the Butler family. That would be really interesting to hear about. And, you know, like he had said on Banfield, like he's really deep diving into this case, and he's talked to people in the community, and he's given me the okay to review his content. So I am very much appreciative of that. So I'm thinking possibly tomorrow. One of my foster kittens is going home tomorrow. 4 is going home tomorrow. And then 7 is going home on Sunday. But 4 is going home like early afternoon. So I think probably, yeah. So maybe at like my normal time, like 4:35-ish, I'll schedule a live and we'll go through the body cam that I had planned to go through today, and we'll get into some of the live stream I have from Justin. Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Let's see. Evil Queen says, I don't know if he was evaluated by a forensic psychiatrist. I don't believe so. I don't think he, well, there was in, let's see, in the documents, there was actually not this document, it was one of the court documents. Maybe it was the one no, it couldn't have been the one I read. There was another document that said that because he did have to undergo an evaluation. Let me see. Maybe it was this one. Let me just look at this again. Safety plan. Nope, not the safety plan. There was something that the judge, one second. There was, let's see, let me look. The judge was not going to release some type, it was like an evaluation or something, and now I can't find it in this one document, but I know we talked about it yesterday. You know what? Maybe it was in the, let me see, maybe it was in the arrest affidavit. So let's see. I'll just look it for this quick, and then we'll call it a day. Oh wait, here we go. So it says, the Office of Juvenile Affairs shall cause to be conducted a psychological evaluation of defendant and prepare a youthful offender study in accordance with section blah, blah, blah of the Oklahoma statutes. So there was an evaluation, and the judge was not releasing that report, which I think is ridiculous. I thought there was something else, but I don't see it. I don't see it. So yes, just to reiterate, Jesse Mack Butler was initially charged with attempted rape, rape by instrument, sexual battery, forcible oral sodomy, another charge of attempted rape, another charge of rape by instrument, domestic assault and battery by strangulation ×2, rape by instrument again, another domestic assault and battery charge in violation of protective order, and total of 78 years in prison. He had it reduced because he had his status changed from adult to youthful offender. So he is currently in counseling and serving 150 hours of community service. Something's got to change in Oklahoma. Good question. I wonder how many other cases this has happened to by this judge. And they did mention in I think it was the Banfield clip we watched, that there is a history with this judge. So it'll be interesting to see what other cases she's overseen and what those results were. So thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate it, especially because it's a little bit later than my normal time. And I know that, you know, there's a lot of drama going on that gets a lot more views, but this is, in my opinion, cases like this are way more important than drama that has no effect on anything in the real world. It's just that. It's drama. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, night, morning, wherever you may be. Be sure to have notifications on, because I do plan on going live tomorrow. It's just not going to be my normal 4:30 time. It will be if I can, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be a little bit later because I'm finally getting my snow tires on tomorrow. And so hopefully that'll be good, because driving home, was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday we had early dismissal. The roads were atrocious, and I am working on a short to show y'all, you know, a little bit of my drive to work on those days. So have a great night, and until next time, y'all, I will see you on the flip side.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play? Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on, cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse, till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. So on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I'm so gone, faded off a 30 rack. She's so on like a light switch, flirting back. There's nothing wrong with the way that she's working that. I just want that body bad, come on baby, bring it back. I rap with a passion, yeah, I got it in me. I've been waiting quite a long time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice all this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse, till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high harass, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.